exercises like Jade Helm make sense. That's why it makes sense when we're seeing drills in Fort Lauderdale where they're rounding up dissidents. That's why it makes sense when we see that they are fighting against protesters in California, because all of this is being orchestrated behind the scenes. Now, look at this little bit of predictive programming reported by Paul Joseph Watson. It is a seemingly innocuous AARP ad. This ad is about caregiving. It's a mother washing her daughter's hair, and you can barely hear it, but the TV in the background is delivering a fate warning about martial law. So it's very obvious what's happening here. It's all part of the plan to expand the federal government, take over local law enforcement, do away with it altogether, and then replace it with what? Federalized police? Where do you think they're getting all these MRAPs from in the first place? Where do you think they're getting all their militarized equipment and all their training? Now they're going to just be under a more heavy-handed authority. So it's going to be a lot worse, actually, and a lot more oppressive. But the only good thing in it is that we're all going to be equally oppressed by the state. Now, coming up next, we're going to have a Jade Helm update, and Max Kaiser called into the Alex Jones show today with some explosive information. Apparently, he was approached by Voice of America to be the turncoat there at RT. When he shut him down, Liz Wall took the job.
My name is Alex Jones. Most of you know me from my syndicated radio program and my documentary films, as well as INFOWARS Nightly News. When I got on air 20 years ago, I had discovered the globalist program, their plan to take over the world, and my focus went from running 6 miles every other day, swimming 2-3 miles a couple times a week, and lifting weights, to focusing on fighting the globalist. I've gone from 279 pounds all the way down to 235 pounds, and the weight's going off even faster. Super Male Vitality, Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine, and Oxy Powder. Those 3 products of the entire family of InfoWarsLife.com products are the most important from my own personal experience. And it wasn't just that my weight loss accelerated. My muscle mass increased. My stamina, my energy levels exploded. Now is the time to take action. Start your journey today with the Alex Challenge Pack. It's the trifecta of change. Secure yours today and get free shipping for a limited time at InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. The knowledge of the ancients, tried and true, trusted herbs and extracts fused with the latest nutraceutical science. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. For the last 2 years, our team has been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to develop the ultimate nutraceutical formulation. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. For a limited time, get 25% off on this introductory offer. Visit ancientdefense.com or call 888-253-3139. ancientdefense.com.
We all know of the countless cases where young black men had drugs or guns planted on them by police. Now the tables have turned by former black police officer Jeffrey Walker from Daily Mail. A disgraced ex-police officer testifying against his drug squad colleagues acknowledged on Tuesday that he stole drug money, planted evidence, and lied on paperwork too many times to count. His victims, in his own words, were white college boy, khaki pants types who were easy to intimidate. Now that Mr. Walker is out of a job, maybe he should try his hand at the DEA. Apparently having wild sex parties and accepting gifts from drug dealers and working with the Sinaloa cartel is no big deal. DEA head Michelle Leonhardt said, "I can't fire, I can't recommend a penalty," when asked why she has not fired or revoked the security clearance of agents named in the March 2015 OIG report, which included an account of an agent hitting a prostitute in the face with a glass over a money dispute. So, Mr. Walker, you can probably get a job with the biggest drug dealers on earth and continue your disreputable ways. Rob Dew reporting for InfoWars INFOWARS.com, INFOWARS Nightly News, and PrisonPlanet.tv.
Evidence in crimes of violence, such as this bloody garment, is examined by an expert from the Hairs and Fibers Unit, another of several specialized units of the FBI laboratory.
The National Academy of Sciences published a report calling into question numerous forensic sciences and calling for increased oversight and research into the growing issue of forensic sciences in 2009. Now, homicide convictions nationwide are being stayed due to a 2012 inquiry by the FBI that is reviewing almost 3,000 homicide cases from 3 decades ago that used what is being called junk science to determine the guilty parties using forensic analysis of hair samples. The FBI has acknowledged nearly every examiner in its elite forensic unit gave flawed testimony in almost all trials in which they offered evidence against criminal defendants in more than a 2-decade period before the year 2000. The faulty science led to 32 death sentences in a review of 342 cases. The FBI still has a backlog of 1,200 cases to review in order to see how many more innocent people may have been prosecuted by their junk science.
The previously reported Q12 hair, Caucasian head hair exhibiting characteristics of apparent decomposition at the root end exhibited the same microscopic characteristics as the Caucasian head hairs from the hair mass. Accordingly, this hair and the hair mass are consistent with originating from the same source. However, it should be noted that hairs are not a means of positive identification.
Mark Godsey, director of exoneration advocacy group, the Ohio Innocence Project, says the ironic thing is that the public believes the forensic science we've got is infallible in the courtroom. The reality is, it's the exact opposite. It's embarrassing and dangerous. In 1978, 17-year-old Sante Tribble was convicted of murder of a Southeast Washington, D.C. taxi driver, based on the testimony of 2 FBI forensic experts. Tribble served 28 years in prison based on expert evidence that turned out to be a dog's hair when examined by an independent analyst. With the ruling, Tribble became the 2nd D.C. man this year and the 3rd since 2009 to be exonerated after serving a lengthy prison term based on false hair matches by different examiners in the FBI laboratory. The findings do, as Senator Blumenthal said, constitute nothing less than an appalling and chilling indictment of the criminal justice system. Now the lab errors and false testimony have been discovered. The federal government and the 46 states, including Connecticut, in which convictions were obtained, at least in part with flawed testimony, should, depending on whatever other evidence exists in each case, either agree to a new trial or ask to have the conviction vacated. Pop TV culture would have you believe that this science is legitimate. Entire shows hinging on the expert scientific evidence given by federal forensic analysts. A prime example of the use of propaganda to sway the public's perception. What has transpired at the FBI is nothing less than a complete breakdown of justice. John Bound, INFOWARS.com.
Hey, this is Rob Dew with INFOWARS.com with some breaking news. You've heard a lot about Jade Helm. We sent our reporters Jakari Jackson and Joe Biggs yesterday to cover the meeting in Bastrop, where the public was overwhelmingly against this military exercise, this covert military operation being held in Texas soil, and especially in the Bastrop area. So you've seen that. I'm going to put some links to some of the videos we've posted. some of the live stream stuff that we put up, just so you can get the feel of what people were saying about this. Well, now it looks like the governor of Texas is getting into the game, and this is the breaking news. This is a tweet from Greg Abbott. I've ordered the Texas State Guard to monitor Jade Helm 15 to safeguard Texans' constitutional rights, private property, and civil liberties. Which on its surface sounds like a great tweet. They're going to be there to help us. Now, the Texas State Guard is one of the 3 branches of the Texas military forces. They're also part of the Texas Army National Guard and the Texas Air National Guard. So you got those 3 different organizations coming together to be part of the Texas State Military. The mission of the Texas State Guard is to provide mission-ready military forces to assist state and local authorities in times of state emergencies, to conduct homeland security and community service activities under the umbrella of defense support to civil authorities, and to augment the Texas Army National Guard and Texas Air National Guard as required. So that's their mission, stated mission, which seems to work right hand in hand with Jade Helm and what is going on. But here's the interesting part. You look at Camp Swift, which is very near where all these exercises are going to be held. It's just north of Bastrop. It used to be a German prisoner of war camp, incidentally. That's where it first got its start back during World War II. But now it's a Army training center. And also, here it is, Camp Swift Army Base in Bastrop County, located in Bastrop County, Texas. Camp Swift has a population of 6,200 and spans 12 square miles. The camp has consistently been used by the military, but it is currently still in use by the National Guard as a storage and training facility. They do a lot of artillery runs there. They do firearms training, all kind of stuff there. So now that Greg Abbott's come out and said this, is he basically just coming out and saying that the Texas military is going to work with the Jade Helm forces in conducting these exercises, or they really are going to be just monitoring them? I'm going to read his tweet again. I've ordered the Texas State Guard to monitor Jade Helm 15 to safeguard Texas' constitutional rights, private property, and civil liberties. And you saw the negative reaction that the 2 Army officers, one is the civilian and one's the actual lieutenant colonel, that are in charge of these Jade Helm exercises here in this area. You saw the kinds of questions they were asked yesterday. We were covering it live on our Ustream channel.
Yeah, I'm Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs, U.S. Army, retired, INFOWARS.com, and I have a question. You said your training will be to blend in for overseas combat missions. So I'm kind of curious how these special operations guys who look like us, look like him, are going to be practicing blending in when we all look the same. Don't they need to train in an area overseas for the combat they're going to go to? Because that, quite frankly, doesn't make sense to me from my time in the military, because you guys have Fort A.P. Hill in Virginia, the Asymmetric Warfare Center, that has a school, a soccer field, a subway station, a bank, all that, and you're training on these environments which look like here. That's why people are concerned.
Excellent question.
So with that, realistic military training occurs off of the federal installation out in the local area. That's what we're doing. As far as blending in, yeah, you take a guy from Fayetteville, North Carolina, I dress differently than people dress here. It's regional. It's one of the, it does.
I've been at Fort Bragg. I was there for 7 years.
You may not like the answer, but that is how it is. And you may have been at Fort Bragg, and people dress differently in and around the 10 surrounding counties, and you've seen it. In the 10 surrounding counties, people dress differently, and you've seen how soldiers dress. And you can snicker about it all you want, but that is the truth.
We also had the guys live in on the Alex Jones Show, and then we had them live in on the Nightly News. I'm going to put these links down at the bottom so you can go to them and watch those videos for yourself and see if you think that is Greg Abbott just kind of paying lip service to the Jade Helm thing because it's popular to say, hey, I'm against, I'm going to be watching these military guys closely, or is he basically just coming out and saying, we're going to be working together with them. This is our way of saying it, so get used to it. We're going to have military on the streets. Now, I don't really have too much of a beef with Greg Abbott personally or politically or anything like that. I'm just noticing this tweet and how it's come out now with what's going on in Bastrop and with other areas in the United States. This is going to be a large exercise. And these guys, we've heard them. They say they're going to be training in covert, in plain clothes. If you notice them, they're not doing their mission properly. That's come out. So Well, I don't know. What do you think? What do you think in the comments? What do you think of what the Texas governor has to say about Jade Helm? Put your comments below and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber to the Alex Jones channel on YouTube. And if you'd like to really support us, become a member of PrisonPlanet.tv. It's your subscription that you can share with up to 20 people. You can watch the live stream of the radio show, the live stream of the nightly news, plus have access to all the videos we produce here, and Alex's books, and the giant documentary films. There's at least 20 of them there online